Picket Studios in Houston, Texas. This is the Realty Ruckus. If you are in any way, shape, or form involved in the real estate industry, this is the show for you. And now, your host, Alan Hernandez.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us here at the Realty Ruckus in the White Picket Realty Studios. We're excited to be here today. It's Friday. U of H just won. They had a phenomenal win last night. I saw a little bit of that. You know, not entirely happy about something like that because, you know, U of H beat Florida State last year, the last game. So I get a lot of slack from U of H friends here in town who know that I went to Florida State, and especially my assistant who loves to rub in the fact that U of H beat Florida State last year. Mind you, it was the last game of the season, and Florida State didn't care much about the game. So I think it would be a different result if we actually saw them play. Needless to bring that up, though, I do want to congratulate.
So salty.
I do want to congratulate U of H. That was a phenomenal win. What did the score end up being? Like 36 to almost 0, right?
No, 36-10.
Okay, 36 to 10.
The number 3 team in the nation, taken down by U of H last night.
And Louisville is actually a really, really great team. I've actually seen some of their games this season. They have one of the potential Heisman candidates. Am I right?
Yeah. Well, they say now. I forgot his name, but they say
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson. There you go.
Yeah.
I knew Baby would know.
Yeah, Baby knows all of this.
I don't. They're saying now that he's kind of dropped out of the Heisman contention. I'm not sure why. I guess I didn't watch the game, but I guess it must have been extremely horrible.
No, he didn't play bad. I disagree with that. I think that he would still be in the Heisman race. The problem is that the Heisman never goes to somebody who doesn't at least make the Big Six.
Yeah.
You know, the New Year's Bowls, and they're not going to make that anymore. They're out of contention for that. And that's why I think he may have dropped out of the Heisman race. But he tried, man. He played his butt off. And the problem is that the Louisville offensive line was terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, they allowed, I think, 10 sacks total in the game. Yeah, and I think 6 of them were by the same player.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And that was with U of H's best player getting knocked out of the game in the second quarter.
Wow.
So their best defensive player was out of the game in the second quarter, and they still dominated Louisville's offensive line.
Right. So high five to all you U of H fans out there, all of you graduates. High five to my assistant who loves to make fun of me and loves to talk trash about Florida State.
Hey, that what just happened was a really big deal.
Yeah.
See, that was Brandon. You know,
Brandon came on camera.
Exactly.
Yeah. You
know,
guys saw his hand.
They call it the foot in the door technique.
Yeah.
But with Brandon, it was the hand in the screen technique.
Yeah.
He's slowly breaking out, guys. He's breaking out.
All over U of H winning, man. I see. That's all it takes.
It's got his confidence, though.
Right? So we just got done with our potluck dinner this season.
Oh man, it was so good.
It was so good, but I'm not kidding you guys.
We
I
had
already
so
feel the
much
pounds.
food that we had leftovers yesterday for lunch, and I think I'm going to eat leftovers again for
We're gonna have
lunch
leftovers
today.
twice.
Yeah.
That
We
is
still
awesome.
have some. It's the fridge is a lot more cleaned up than it was yesterday, but there's still
Oh
leftovers.
yeah, there's plenty in there, man.
If you guys didn't get a chance to catch the little live stream that we did it right off of my Facebook page. Make sure that you guys register on our Facebook page. What do they have to do to actually see when we go live?
Well, yeah, when you go live, what they can do is subscribe to you, and so they'll get a notification when we go live for Realty Ruckus, or we just go live for anything else. Yeah, we do just a bunch of funny stuff mainly off of your page.
Yeah, so make sure that you guys go onto my page, and I think all you have to do is click follow, and then it'll give you a notice every time we go live. You can there's also a button if you're on the Facebook page. There's also a button at the top right that you can press, and you'll get a live notification every time we do anything through my page, which is usually where we go live at. Don't forget, you guys, that we are able to take all of your comments, questions, concerns, anything that you want to talk about live during the show by posting them down below, or literally by calling BB, which we love giving BB's number out because he now randomly gets
I'm very popular with the ladies nowadays.
Yeah, give me that number again. I'll put it up here just so for anyone that wants to call in.
He randomly gets like these text messages now, which we love.
832-790-2578. Again, that's 832-790-2578. Feel free to text message me during the show or after the show.
So, all right. So we have a show planned out today for you guys that I think is going to be a real game changer as far as what you're doing in your business right now. There's a lot of things that are happening. Technology is changing the way that we do things. And a lot of that could become legal issues later. So we're going to talk about all that. As soon as Ashley gets here, we'll actually get his perspective.
Yeah, I heard he's stuck in traffic right now.
Yeah, you know, that's Houston for you.
Yep.
That's Houston. So we're going to talk a whole lot more about that. We're going to talk about some awesome management styles, what it means to do things, how to motivate people correctly, and not people, but your team members, your workers, your associates, you know, depending on the company that you run. We want to figure out what you guys are seeing out there that works. And we're going to talk to you guys about some of the big giant corporate companies, what they're doing out there and what's worked for them or what's not working for them now, and how some of those different management styles are changing the way that things operate and the culture inside of their business. And so besides that, you guys make sure that you stay tuned because we'll also have a bunch of events to talk about. Is December packed?
December's packed with mainly just parties, yes.
So I hope you guys are wearing your drinking boots for December. It's going to be a great month. Stay tuned. We have a phenomenal show planned out for you guys. We'll be right back.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepickettrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepickettrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
Hey Houston, this is Alan Hernandez, and I want to remind you guys to visit our friends over at Quest IRA to learn everything there is to learn about investing with your IRA. Now, if you haven't been over there recently, you have to check them out. They have free educational classes, networking opportunities, the ability to tap into $1 billion for your real estate investing deals. These are the guys to know when it comes to learning about this kind of stuff. You want to make sure you visit them and check them out over at www.questira.com. Again, that's questira.com.
Hey everyone, this is David over at White Picket Realty, and I wanted to tell you about my friends over at Plans Express who can save you the headache of running your own permits. These guys are committed to offering a one-stop solution for all your plan and permit needs. They're proudly serving their friends and neighbors in the Houston surrounding areas, and they offer great service at an exceptional value. With dedicated professionals ready to serve, contact them today at 832-675-6217.
What do you love about White Picket?
I love that we work together as a team.
I love being professional while having fun.
I love the innovative approach we take every day.
I love the support we get to grow our business.
We love White Picket.
And I love empowering the next generation of realtors to live life by their own design. If you're looking to grow, come grow with us. Email join@teamwpr.com. Again, that's join@teamwpr.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can always live tweet us at Realty Ruckus. Again, that's at Realty Ruckus. You can also catch us live on Facebook and YouTube, where we can talk with you live during the show. And if you want to chat with us over the phone, you can dial us at 832-790-2578. Again, that's 832-790-2578 if you want to chat with us live over the phone. But for now, we want to find out what it's going to look like this weekend. And I've got some unfortunate news, and Dave is going to let you know that.
Yeah, guys, if you haven't looked outside, let me let you know right now, it gonna rain.
I was hoping you'd say that.
100% chance of rain today with a high of 81, lows in the 40s tonight. It's going to be about 47. The good thing is tomorrow is going to be really beautiful. It's going to be, the highs are going to be in the mid 60s, and it's going to be a little bit chilly at night, which I've been looking forward to. It's going to be in the low 40s, which is perfect because I'm going to the Renaissance Festival tomorrow, and that mead's going to warm me up just enough. So I'll be all right.
Yeah, nice. Renaissance.
Apparently. So, all right. So let's talk about what we have for today's show. First off, there's some announcements that you must know if you're a real estate agent.
Yeah. So we want to start the show now. The segment one kind of give you guys updates on local topics things that are affecting people immediately here in the Houston area.
Houston or Texas, because we don't want to leave out our friend Tang up in Dallas.
That's right. So
that noise you heard earlier, that bubbling, that was David drinking his coffee. Let's just be very clear.
Was that on the mic?
Yeah, it just sounded
it's
so
a lot
funny.
of bubbling.
It's like
we're having a lot of fun over here.
Yeah.
A lot of bubbling happening.
Sorry, guys.
David is not smoking anything. He's drinking coffee. Just because the bills are on the legislature for Texas, which, by the way, there's 4 bills on the legislature to legalize marijuana in different aspects and respects. So that's pretty interesting.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. So that's your first legal. That's your first local update.
First local legal update. Second local.
This
legal
one's very
update, as far
important.
as
Everyone
Texas
needs to pay
concerned,
attention. Yes.
Is meant for people who have assistants. All right. Now, if you don't have an assistant, you may not have to worry about this much. But I think if you're a real estate agent, even if you're just running the show on your own, you're doing all of your own marketing, your showings, your everything. At some point, you get to that uncomfortable level where you need someone to help you, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
You need someone to maybe go open a door, maybe, go host an open house.
I mean, even if you're just trying to gain a little bit of your freedom back and you just want to hire an assistant and gain your freedom back, you need to be aware that Texas is going to start regulating even more what your assistants can and can't do.
Yeah.
And so this is a big deal.
The major changes that we have right now, which, up until just recently, it was okay to do, but the major changes that we have right now is that if you have an assistant, and it's an unlicensed assistant, that person can no longer go open doors for you. So what agents were doing is they were getting too busy, right? They were getting too busy doing paperwork or whatever else they have to do during the daytime. And if they had a client that needed to go see a house, they'd just say, hey, assistant, go out there and show it, right? But usually assistants are not licensed. They don't have a real estate license.
No, and if they were licensed, they probably would be agents and not assistants. Yeah.
Correct. So what was happening is there was these unlicensed individuals going out there and showing properties and not answering questions correctly or answering the questions incorrectly and causing a little bit of a rift inside the system. So then Trek came in and said, okay, well, you know what? If you want to open a door for a buyer, now it doesn't matter what the scenario is, you have to be licensed.
Yep.
Okay, so that's rule number 1.
That's starting December 1st.
That's December 1st.
And we talked about that before, so that one's not that big of a surprise. This next one, though, is a big surprise because they hadn't mentioned this before.
And this changes everything because now, again, it kind of just makes things a little bit harder on the agent. I'm an advocate for subcontracting things, having people help you so that you can have freedom and live a life by design. I talk about it all the time to our agents and why it's important. So part of doing that was, hey, look, you have 10 listings. Every one of them wants you to have an open house. You can't be 10 people or have 10 open houses in one weekend, right? You can't appease everyone at once. So what do you have to do?
Yeah, you get assistants to
have
host
an
those open houses.
assistant to help you host open houses. Well, as of December 1st, again, you are no longer able to have an unlicensed assistant host open houses for you.
Unlicensed person, period, which is kind of a big deal because there's a lot of concierge companies out there, real estate concierge, who will host open houses for you. And the problem with this is now they can no longer go out and host their open houses unless they are licensed, which means now they're just agents hosting open houses.
Yeah.
So they're really, really tightening up. And it's kind of funny because I went on the message boards for Trek, and there's a lot of people that are local brokers and local attorney/brokers that are fighting this tooth and nail, and they're saying, this is not fair.
Yeah.
We want the ability to use these people to go open doors and do things that are menial tasks, things that I shouldn't be wasting my time with, and hosting my open houses. Why do they have to be licensed? What's next? You're going to make my secretary be licensed? You're going to make everyone who works in my office be licensed? Where does it stop? And so Trek's response is, well, we did it for safety. We don't want unlicensed people inside of consumers' houses. Okay. But then the argument from these attorneys back to Trek is, well, what about all the 200-300 people a day that go out, that cash buyers that are going into strangers' houses, that none of them have been background checked, none of them have had any type of supervision from anyone, And now they're going out and they're going walking through people's houses. Why can't I have my assistant, who I check their background, I know who they are, they work for me,
That's right.
host my open houses?
You know, at the same time, regardless of whether that assistant is licensed or not, the brokerage is still liable for that person.
Yeah.
You know? So I do understand that side of the coin is why does that person have to be licensed when at the end of the day, if that person does make a mistake, who takes the hit? The broker.
Well, here, and what's crazy is that I think about what Ashley says all the time. So people who listen to the show a lot know that Ashley talks about the legal pendulum and how it swings from one side to the other. So I'm guessing that there was a point where it was kind of like assistants can do anything.
Yep.
And then some assistant out there somewhere screwed something up. Yeah. They got caught doing something in a house. Maybe they burned a house down, or they got caught doing something inappropriate in a property, or they stole something. We don't know. I don't know that. But that's what makes that pendulum swing the other way. Mm-hmm. But it never falls in the happy middle. Mm-hmm. Now it's going to the other side of over-regulated.
Yep.
You have too much regulation now, and it's preventing realtors from being able to do their job effectively.
Yeah, eventually you're going to have too many pissed off realtors, and that pendulum will start swinging back the other way.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a big one. I want to see how that plays out, because it's going to get really expensive if everyone in your office has to be licensed.
Yeah.
And that's what that argument is that what's next? My secretary has to be licensed. Everyone in the office has to be licensed. Where does it stop?
It doesn't at this point. We just got to hope that it doesn't keep going much further, because it's going to make us work harder.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? All right, when we get back, we got to talk about management styles. We're going to talk about interest rates.
Yeah, and Ashley's going to be, we forgot the interest rates.
We got to talk about interest rates, because that's a huge deal right now.
Yeah.
It's huge. All right, when we get back, we'll talk about that.
And Ashley Patton will join us. Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepicketrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepicketrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
Hey Houston, this is Alan Hernandez, and I want to remind you guys to visit our friends over at Quest IRA to learn everything there is to learn about investing with your IRA. Now, if you haven't been over there recently, you have to check them out. They have free educational classes, networking opportunities, the ability to tap into $1 billion for your real estate investing deals. These are the guys to know when it comes to learning about this kind of stuff. You want to make sure you visit them and check them out over at www.questira.com. Again, that's questira.com.
Hey everyone, this is David over at White Picket Realty, and I wanted to tell you about my friends over at Plans Express, who can save you the headache of running your own permits. These guys are committed to offering a one-stop solution for all your plan and permit needs. They're proudly serving their friends and neighbors in the Houston surrounding areas, and they offer great service and an exceptional value. With dedicated professionals ready to serve, contact them today at 832-675-6217.
What do you love about White Picket?
I love that we work together as a team.
I love being professional while having fun.
I love the innovative approach we take every day.
I love the support we get to grow our business.
We love White Picket.
And I love empowering the next generation of realtors to live life by their own design. If you're looking to grow, come grow with us. Email join@teamwpr.com. Again, that's join@teamwpr.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can live tweet us at Realty Ruckus. You can also find us live on Facebook and YouTube, where we can answer all of your questions live on the air. Now, we're very happy to have Ashley Patton back. It's been a while since we had him here in the office with us.
Has it been
in
that
studio. Long? It's been about a week.
About a week
since we last
feels
did
like
it.
a long time, though.
So we want to go ahead and jump into a topic. We want to talk about management styles in the workplace and what differences do those make. And it's kind of interesting because we were sitting here and we were talking about management, and I asked Ashley, well, how do you do your management style? And he said something really interesting. You want to tell everyone what you said?
Well, basically, I have a number two that does everything for me.
Well, you said something that was very peculiar. That you said, I look for everything that I'm not.
Right. When I go out and hire, I hire people who aren't like me because I know what I am. But I want to find everything, and I know where I'm weak, I know where I'm strong, and so I want to surround myself with people that could fill up my weak points. And so,
it's funny because if you just getting started in any kind of business, you kind of go the other way. You kind of feel safe with people that are like you,
right?
And I know we made that mistake when we first started, and we went out and found people that were very similar to us, and actually that kind of backfired on us. That was the wrong way to go. Now we've learned that lesson, and I can see why it's important to go out and find people that are not like you at all.
It's amazing to me how many people think that 1 and 1 equals 2, and that makes a good partnership.
Yeah.
If 1 + 1 doesn't equal 3, you might as well be by yourself because you're not getting anything. So in other words, the sum of the whole is not more than what the whole is. It's not worthwhile having a partner.
Yeah. So 1 and 1 has to equal 3, otherwise it's not worth it.
Doesn't make sense.
Exactly. Now we did some research and we found that there are companies out there like Amazon.
Yeah, well, it was actually pretty interesting to me. I didn't realize Amazon implemented that. I know that it's something that became really popular in the late 90s, early 2000s, and it's basically like a eat or be eaten type workplace where so Enron was real famous for it, but theirs was a little bit different because they actually voted, like the employees themselves voted on which employees were the most valuable and which ones were the least valuable. And then the bottom 20% would get fired every year.
Wow.
So, and that was based off like peer review. So it was like, oh man, I better hope everybody likes me.
So your peers had to rank you according to what they thought you were worth.
Yeah, I would be kind of worried. I definitely, that would change my grumpiness sometimes.
But at Amazon, it's only a step above that. It's basically the supervisor ranks all the employees.
Yeah. So at Amazon, it's the supervisor's the one doing all the rankings, but the bottom 20%, you're gone. And they're getting ready to get rid of that. They're no longer going to do that. I think that cutthroat mentality is starting to be too much for the millennial generation.
Yep.
Yeah.
I really do think so.
Yeah, well, I was reading some of the replies that the people that were working inside of Amazon were leaving. Because, after the thread, it shows people talking about it. And there was a guy in there that was talking about how he couldn't stand the atmosphere, how the culture was horrible, and how it had created a system where people were sabotaging each other's work.
Wow. So instead of being more productive, you're actually less productive. So it was being
counterproductive because, if you were getting something done and it was going to make you look too good, someone would go sabotage your work so that you could be at the same level as everyone else and therefore, not risk getting fired or whatnot.
Yeah. Well, and one thing I read is has to do with Google because Google's I didn't realize how cutthroat Google is also.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
They're really cutthroat at Google. And I was really surprised to find out that at Google, like when you're older, the way that they keep from hiring older people, and right now the federal government is actually looking at Google to find out if they're violating any discrimination laws. It's hard to say that they are because they're technically not saying we don't want old people. But what they're doing is that when people come in, they give them like a whiteboard marker and they're like, hey, go up on the whiteboard and draw us how to do some type of computer chain, And that's stuff that when you just got out of school when you're young. But as you get older, you get more into practical programming. You don't really know. You don't remember all those little things that you learned in school. And then they say, oh, well, you failed because you weren't able to do that on the whiteboard. And that's their way to prevent themselves from having to hire older people.
So they have like an old man test? Is that what you're saying?
Basically, yeah.
Wow, what do you think,
Ashley? What is that?
Legal or not legal?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because one of the guys that was there, he was his company got bought out by Google, and they kept him on as a contract employee, right? And he had something to do with Google Maps. He helped design a lot of the integrations for Google Maps. And then when they came back, they said, okay, well, your contract period is over. Do you want to be hired as a full-time employee? Do you want to interview?
Wow.
And he went back for the interview, and he was like, I designed like 90% of everything. Like, I'm a shoo-in for this job. There should be no question about me. And he said the first thing they did in the interview was like, okay, well, here's your marker. Go up on the board and draw this for us. And he was like, really? Like, I don't remember how to do that, but I'm great at what you're asking me to do. Yeah. And basically, they told him to go fly a kite.
Wow.
And even though his company was the one that got bought out, and he was the one who designed all that stuff, they essentially told him, you're not good enough for us anymore. You don't have those young mentality ideas. Go on now, shoo.
Wow, that's incredible. I got to tell you, if I let Brandon design an old man test I would fail it every day. Every single day.
Apply a Snapchat filter to your face. And
Yeah. Show me how to do something on social media on the board. I would just
I'd fail every time as well.
Unless it's hitting the go live button, I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah, we know you're good at that.
Like, when was the last time you guys went on LinkedIn and like actually did something with it?
Man, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, we're horrible at LinkedIn.
It's been a long time since I've been on LinkedIn, and I feel pretty guilty about it, to be honest with you, because I see so many people being successful with LinkedIn and it helping their business.
Okay, Brandon just said 2 days ago.
Oh yeah, so he logged in 2 days ago.
You're sitting here wallowing about not being there in I don't know, ages.
I probably haven't logged into LinkedIn.
That's
in
what
over
I mean.
6
I mean, if
months.
there was an actual old man test here, we'd probably all fail, which is crazy.
Unfortunately, you know what's crazy, man, is when I was younger, I was like kind of at the brink of that technological period where I was building my own computers.
Me
I
too.
was programming my own software, and I thought, oh man, I'll never get left behind.
I
in
used to run the
technology.
technology center at FSU. I ran the technology center. Now I'm like, I can't figure anything out unless Brandon does it.
Oh, it blows me away how fast technology changes, because I honestly thought I'll never get left behind. And the other day I went into Micro Center and there was like these two nerds, for lack of a better word, these two nerds. And they were in there and they were like nerding out over like.
So for BB to say that someone else is a nerd, okay, let me just put this into perspective, right? That would make that other person like a mega nerd. Like Mega Nerdtron or something.
Revenge of the Nerds.
Yes.
Nerds, yeah.
So Mega Nerd says what? What does Mega Nerd say?
One Mega Nerd turns the other Mega Nerd. He's like, oh man, these intercoolers these days are so amazing. And I was like, what is he talking about? And so I'm like standing.
The cooling thing for the
yeah. But they have like really, really huge systems now. Back in the day, we had water cooling systems, but now they're like refrigerated water cooling systems that are pre-integrated into cases. I mean, it's just gone like above and beyond next level. And he was in there talking with the employee, and he was like, well, which one do you think I should get, the 6200 or the 6400? And I was like, man, I think you need to get a life.
You might need to get a girlfriend first.
Buy that 6400 model girlfriend, man. Go on now.
Y'all some haters.
That's so true, though. But in the workplace, that does have an effect. Like, you got to make sure that everyone in your workplace is staying up to date.
Yeah, for sure.
And trying to stay on the brink of it.
Well, do you know what Eric does for y'all, Ashley? What does Eric do for y'all to keep the level of employee exceptional?
Well, basically what we do is we give back. So in other words, every time someone closes a file, they get a little piece of it. So, essentially what happens is it's not just their job. I mean, they want to work harder because they make more money.
Yeah.
So if you don't incentivize them, you're not going to ever get.
So you're not on the cutthroat side. You're on the incentivized culture side.
Now, what are some things that you guys do? And obviously, I know you do a lot of events, but inner office, are you doing any things to, keep that synergy going, keep all the employees feeling like a team, like they work together?
We do things like paintball. We do. I took my whole office skydiving.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it is really cool.
Yeah.
And that was fun. About 22 of us went skydiving. And
wow.
Do you have any open positions?
Talk to me later.
Wow, that's really awesome. So you all went skydiving. How long ago was that?
It was probably about 6 months ago.
Oh, okay, cool, man. I didn't realize that 22 of y'all went skydiving.
Yeah, 22. The people that didn't want to go, they got a spa.
Yeah, so you're doing things. You're doing progressive things to keep everyone in the office happy, and I think that's so important.
I think that's more in line with the culture nowadays, as far as where we're progressing from that cutthroat from the 80s, 90s, and early noughts to now, where it's more of an incentivized culture where we're trying to give people an incentive to work hard instead of basically cracking the whip, as so to say.
Yeah, well, and one thing that I've seen that's becoming more and more popular is employee-owned companies. So EOCs, where the employees actually have, and it's a small stake, is a 0.5% or 1%, depending on how big the company is. And obviously, every time they hire someone, it dilutes a little bit, but they own the company, so they feel like they have ownership in it, and the things that they're doing really drive and affect the company as a whole. So that's completely different than the 2000s where it was like, hey, all of your peers are going to rate you, and if you suck, you're out of here. Or not even if you suck, you may be the best employee there.
Yeah. But if they don't like you.
If we don't like you, you're out of here.
You just get voted off the island.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I'm glad I never had to work in that corporate environment. And now I understand, like when people talk about the cutthroat corporate environment,
Or why they hate corporate America.
I think that's what they're relating. They're talking about is that 80s, 90s. What did you call it? The knots?
The knots, yeah.
The knots. That's what they call it. 2000s. See,
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Did you know that?
That's a millennial.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that term.
Come on,
Yeah,
guys.
no, none of us here knew that. I was like, what is he talking about? Knots?
Yeah,
over
you have
there? I'm
like knots, 10s, 20s.
that's really off topic. We're not talking about knots right
What do
now.
you call them? the zeros? What do you call them? Yeah, that's how you refer to them, the knots.
The double O. I just call them the secret agents, the double O's. You
The
know?
double O.
Hey, I gotta wrangle you guys back because I don't want to forget to talk about mortgage rates.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, yes,
And
yes.
this is really important because we saw mortgage rates go up as soon as the election was over,
Yes.
which everybody thought was going to happen.
Yes.
Right. But here's the thing: it went up almost 10%.
10% from where it was. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
It rose 40 basis points from 3.57% last week to 3.94% this week.
Well, and here's the thing. That's just based off of Treasury bonds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that has nothing to do with the Federal Reserve. In December, the Federal Reserve is going to meet, and they kept meeting during the election cycle, but it's really hard to raise interest rates in the middle of an election. You don't
Right.
want to tank the economy right before an election. But they're going to raise the rates in December, which
Right.
means that 3.9 is going to become 4.5 or 4.25, and then 4.5.
Hey, why don't you
probably in
explain real
January.
quick, because you explained it to us the other day, how it was that mortgage rates actually rose because of the bond markets post-election.
So there was such a big sell-off in the bond markets that in order to make bonds more attractive, they had to raise the yield on them.
Yeah.
And by raising the yield, now that raises the interest rates at which people can borrow at.
Yeah, because bonds are used as as a metric upon which other interest rates are measured. Like you set your interest rates based on those interest
Correct.
rates.
Yeah. And
the
then
yield
you,
rates.
And then
sorry.
you also have the prime, which is set by the Federal Reserve. So when that goes up, everything ticks up.
Yeah.
That there is no getting around that one. You can kind of work your way around the bond ones if you go to certain banks that don't deal with that directly, but the Federal Reserve, there is no getting around it. And it's going to be 4.25 in December. I can almost guarantee it. And by January, mid-January, February, we'll be at 4.5%.
That guy at Micro Center right now is looking at the show and calling BB a mega
Yeah.
nerd, right?
You real estate nerd. You finance
Real
nerd.
estate mega nerd.
That's a really big deal, though, because go ahead.
I was going to say, you know, what that means to someone borrowing on a $250,000 house, which is pretty close to what the median price of a home is here in Houston nowadays. It means an increase of about $42.
Yeah, for this most recent increase, the 40 basis points,
Correct.
Yeah.
it basically would have popped up your payment $42 a month.
Yeah, but
Okay.
think about it when you go up another 25 basis points.
Yeah.
Right.
And now that $42 becomes $62, and then
Yeah.
you go up another 25 basis points, and at 62, now you're pushing almost an extra $100
Almost
a
an
month.
extra $100, yeah.
And that really does decrease the ability of you being able to purchase. So that's the entire point of this is because interest rates are going up, we're going to start seeing the slowdown maybe potentially.
Well, and David, how lower were mortgage applications already?
Oh yeah, they dropped 9% from
9%.
1 week to another week.
There you
Yep.
go. And that's only with 40 basis points.
That's right.
We still have probably another 50 basis points to go minimum for the Federal Reserve.
This is information that if you're out there talking to buyers, if you're dealing with buyers, you want to let them know this
Yeah,
stuff.
buy now.
You want to be like, hey, if you're not going to buy now, you're not going to be able to afford the same house later. I mean, it's almost guaranteed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Right now is the best time to get out there and try to buy before those interest rates go up.
Exactly. All right, we got to take a quick commercial break. When we get back, we got to tell you a story about how an agent can ruin a negotiation and are text messaging legally binding contracts, text messaging exchanges. All right. Have you ever talked to someone through a text message and talked about terms? I know we all have. Are they legally binding? We're going to talk about that when we get back with Ashley Patton. Stay tuned.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you're interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepickettrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepickettrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
Hey Houston, this is Alan Hernandez, and I want to remind you guys to visit our friends over at Quest IRA to learn everything there is to learn about investing with your IRA. Now, if you haven't been over there recently, you have to check them out. They have free educational classes, networking opportunities, the ability to tap into $1 billion for your real estate investing deals. These are the guys to know when it comes to learning about this kind of stuff. You want to make sure you visit them and check them out over at www.questira.com. Again, that's questira.com.
Hey everyone, this is David over at White Picket Realty, and I wanted to tell you about my friends over at Plans Express who can save you the headache of running your own permits. These guys are committed to offering a one-stop solution for all your plan and permit needs. They're proudly serving their friends and neighbors in the Houston surrounding areas, and they offer great service at an exceptional value. With dedicated professionals ready to serve, contact them today at 832-675-6217.
What do you love about White Picket?
I love that we work together as a team.
I love being professional while having fun.
I love the innovative approach we take every day.
I love the support we get to grow our business.
We love White Picket.
And I love empowering the next generation of realtors to live life by their own design. If you're looking to grow, come grow with us. Email join@teamwpr.com. Again, that's join@teamwpr.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can always live tweet us at Realty Ruckus. You can also find us live on Facebook and YouTube, where we can answer your questions on the air live. And we also have Ashley Patton in studio from Texas American Title, Ashley Patton, and he will be answering some of our legal questions coming up here in just a few seconds. But right now we want to jump into negotiations. And we want to talk about how negotiating happens in real estate transactions. What are some very common methods that realtors are using to negotiate, and how you can fight those methods and not get trapped in them?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So I want to start off by telling you guys a story that just happened with me recently in some of the listings that we have here at White Picket. So I notice these kind of things all the time because, we talk about them here on the show, and when we talk about them with our agents, and we try to advise them against, shady negotiation practices or things that, we know won't work.
Yeah.
But long story short, so we have an agent who sends in an offer, right, on one of our listings, and she comes in like 65 grand lower than list price. Now, mind you, the property appraised for what it's listed for. We know that the value is there. There's no issue about it. The one next door literally sold for the amount that we're asking for it. So
Yeah.
It's not like we're overly priced, right?
Yeah.
But so of course, when someone comes in that low, our strategy is always, well, look, I'm sorry, we can't work with you because that's not even close to the ballpark where we're thinking, right? So that's exactly what we did, and then she came back at like 15 grand lower instead, right? Now, here's what's happening in my mind. It's like, well, why did you even try submitting 65 grand lower if your next counter was going to come in just 15 grand lower? You basically went up 50 grand, right? Why not just come in with the 15 grand and actually try to negotiate and have a smooth negotiation, right? Something that's closer to where both parties will be happy.
Yeah.
Right. So here's where it gets interesting. The next few days, we go back and forth, not through email, but through text messaging, right? And I realize this is now happening all the time.
Yes.
This is not new for us anymore. This is now happening all the time. If you are negotiating almost any transaction now, and you're dealing with agents, it's almost entirely through text now.
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
very few phone calls, there's very few emails, unless you finally decided on something that's finalized and you say, okay, this is what the final agreement is. It almost always comes back to going back and forth through text, right? So we go back and we say, look, this is the final number. The final number in this case was like 500, and she comes back and says, well, no, we need to be at 495. So, what do you guys think we said? Well, why don't we just, meet in the middle?
Split the difference,
Right?
Yeah.
Split the difference. Look, fine, my client doesn't really want to go down any further than the 500. Your client doesn't want to pay more than the 495. Let's just split the difference. You'll get what you want. My clients will take a little bit of a loss. However, in exchange, my clients would like your clients to be easy to work with and not ask for little tiny things like little touch-ups, this and that and the other. That's all they're asking. Now, mind you, touch-up, is not very expensive. What does touch-up cost on a house?
I mean,
This is a new construction
you're
house.
talking about $200,
$200 or $300,
yeah,
right?
I mean,
So my
it's not
clients are
much.
giving away $2,500, you know, and saying, hey, just don't bug me about $200 to $300 worth of stuff,
Right.
You know, which I thought was very reasonable. Takes 2 days for her to get back to me, and she comes back and says, actually, we'll agree to the $497.5. We're splitting the difference, but they actually want all of the touch-ups done, and they want a wrought iron fence.
Wow.
All right. So what is the strategy there, and how do you think this agent may have potentially ruined this negotiation?
Well, I mean, she's coming back with completely different terms.
Exactly.
That's
Right.
problem number one.
Problem number one is she messed up the already good momentum that we had. So if I go back and present this to my client and say, hey, not only are you going to take a $2,500 hit, you're also going to do the touch-ups, and now they want a wrought iron fence, which, you know, I don't know what it costs, maybe $1,500. You know, what are they going to say? Well, no, these people are not easy to work with. These people they're not showing that they're serious. Forget it. We don't want to work with them, right? And so I was thinking in my mind, this agent had the power to make this transaction work for her clients. She had the ability to maybe advise her clients and say, hey, asking for that is probably not reasonable. It's not a good idea, and it's probably going to cost you the deal. It's going to extend the time that you're going to be looking for a house. It's going to just not make this an easy transaction for you or smooth. Why don't we just go ahead and not do that? Maybe we'll get a quote for you. Maybe we'll help you get your fence some other way. But at least this way you can get the house that you like, right? And I thought about that, and I thought, well, you know, it's funny because I have all of these text messages, and in my text messages, one of my text messages says, hey, yeah, those terms will work. And I started looking it up. And I realized that there are cases out there. There are cases out there right now where agents, sellers, homeowners are bickering back and forth and literally even going to the court system because they're saying, hey, we agreed to this. Here it is in writing, and it's in a text message. And so now that's leading to new problems, new issues that are happening. Obviously, that's not something that I plan on doing with this case. Really the reason I bring that up is because of the negotiation strategy, which I thought was awkward on their behalf. But more importantly is, what are the repercussions of actually having your agent agree to terms through text messaging? And how can that affect you legally speaking, right? So what do you think, Ashley?
Well, a text message is just a form of communication, you know, and so it used to be everything had to be signed in order to be binding. But nowadays you can have electronic signature, that's fine, or you don't even need a signature anymore because the whole key of the contract is consideration, offer, mutual intent to be bound. So that's the key thing, is mutual intent to be bound. So it doesn't matter whether or not somebody puts their signature on the line. It matters whether or not there is mutual intent to be bound. So in your case, whenever you agreed to split the baby, meet in the middle, that right there was an offer. That when she came back with the contract fence, with the iron fence, you know, that was a counter offer. You could easily say, no, thank you, but we're going to go back to the way the contract was written, which in this case is splitting the puppy in the middle, and with no wrought iron fence.
Which, you know, that's what I'm going to advise my clients to do. I guess what's causing a problem are people out there who are saying, hey, sorry, this is going to be the way it works. And there's a case that just happened in March of 2016. It didn't actually happen here in Texas. It happened in Massachusetts, where the buyer and the listing broker discussed signing a final letter of intent and sending a check deposit through text message, right? So in this case, the buyer and the seller said, fine, these are done. These are the terms. We're going to sign. We're going to agree to sign the final letter of intent, and we're going to deliver the checks to you. All right. Both of these companies agreed to this through text messaging.
Right.
Through text messaging. And then what happened is the seller received another offer, took the other offer, and the person that had already said, hey, we were ready to move forward, kind of got tossed out. So they sued. Right? They took it to the court system and they said, hey, we're not really happy with this. We had an agreement. Here's a text message. And long story short, the court decided, the court sided in this case with the sellers, saying that because it wasn't signed in writing, that they were going to be okay. But still, they were dragged through the mud on all of this. Went to the court. You know how this works.
Right.
Every time you have to go to court.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Ashley, but it's different state by state.
It is.
This
It is
isn't
different
this
state
isn't
by state.
federally. This isn't federal. This is something that's state by state basis, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Well, I only bring this up is because there's not a lot of case law with this right now. This is one out of very, very few that are out there.
Right.
And we don't have a lot of it right now happening, but I kind of saw it as a problem that may increase because as we go into the technological age and as more communication now happens through text messaging, we're going to start seeing more of these little, bickering matches come up, and then having at some point to let the court decide who's wrong and who's right, and whether a text message does mean you are legally binded to an agreement.
Let me just put it this way, because the other case is a little complicated. Let's just go real simple. I've got a listing, and I get a text message saying, hey, my client is offering X amount of dollars.
Right.
Well, will your client accept? And I text message and I say back, yes, my client accepts your offer. Go ahead and send over the contract. And then they send over the contract, and my client changes their mind before they ever sign it. And we go with the different contract. And so that buyer goes back and says, hey, you sent me a text message saying it's a done deal to send over the contract. Can they hold me to that contract in Texas?
Well, that's one of those unique situations where sending over a contract is not necessarily a done deal.
Okay.
Now, the key is that the contract's already executed and you're merely arguing over a couple points.
Okay.
That's different.
Yeah.
Because sending over a contract composes a lot of deals that may not have made the conversation. So
Yeah.
that's kind of one of those questions to where it's just case by case. Now, if you have the contract and the last point that you're arguing about was the price, then a text message is all that's necessary.
Got it.
Because you
Okay.
have everything else.
Yeah.
So if it's just 1 or 2 points, then it's easy to bind yourself. But if it's a whole contract, hey, send me over the contract. There's a lot of different terms that probably haven't been discussed.
Yeah. Okay. So you're not stuck by telling someone, yeah, that's going to work. Send me over the contract. It's only if you have the contract in hand and then you text back and say, hey, everything looks good except the price. Can
Exactly.
they agree to this? They agree to it, and then you
Then
come
you're
back
bound.
and say, hey, they changed their mind. They don't want to do it anymore. Now you are bound.
Right. Massachusetts
that makes sense.
results
Yeah.
would be totally
Absolutely.
different Texas results.
Yeah.
Texas
Okay.
is very conservative, and they will hold you to that standard every time.
Got it. Oh, so Texas is more conservative in the sense that if
Absolutely.
you make a deal with someone, even if it's verbal or through text message, it's a deal.
That's exactly right.
Got it. Okay.
The best thing about this report was the comments that people were leaving. Brokers that were going
Yeah.
on there and saying, hey, if it's not a signed contract, if it's not a signed deal, it's not a contract. Or no listing agreement, no seller agreement, nothing else matters. We got another one here with, how do I know who wrote those text messages?
That's true, though. I do question that sometimes. Is how can you prove the authenticity of the source of a text message? There's now with and we're getting really deep here, but nowadays with like digital hacking, things like that. Can I just claim, hey, I never wrote that message. That came from somebody else.
Here's one from a broker over at KW saying, whatever happened to a binding contract being a document with all parties and agreeing in writing with signatures? Has our industry gone way too far past being reasonable? And that's what I'm trying to say is, because of technology, things are changing. It used to be where it had to be signed, all documents had to be signed in blue ink at the title company. Now I see title companies sending stuff out through DocuSign and
Right.
closing that way.
Right.
So things are changing based on technology,
Yeah.
and because of that, the way that contracts are agreed to is also changing. But you're right; these questions come up. Who even wrote the text message?
Yeah.
How do we know it was
yeah,
you or
yeah.
me? Or
It just seems to me like, in my opinion, until you sign, it's not a contract. But I know Texas is way different because Texas is even a verbal contract.
Exactly.
If we can say no, we had a verbal contract. You can enforce that, can't you?
As long as a verbal contract is not on certain things, like you can't do a verbal contract over real estate, any contract that's going to take
Got
place
it.
for more than a year, certain things like salary, those can't be. Those have to be in writing.
Okay.
What
What are some things that can be verbal that can be actually enforced and upheld in a court?
anything under $500.
Oh, wow.
I
Wait, so
promise-
all the people that do like selling on like OfferUp and things like that, they could actually be
absolutely.
sued. Like if they say, well, yeah, I'll agree to sell it to you for $300, and then
they can sue for that.
wow,
Yeah.
okay, wow, that's interesting.
The key is as long as the thing is not illegal. Like for instance, if somebody like we make a bet over the football game.
Yeah.
You know, that is completely illegal. You know, courts would not enforce that.
Small claims court over a bet. It's funny because I saw somebody call 911 because their drug dealer ripped them off. He was like, "Oh man," he was like, "I tried to buy some pot from my drug dealer, and he sold me something. It was fake." And the cops were like, you don't call 911 over like illegal stuff.
And they actually try to do that. It's amazing.
Yeah. I've heard some of those. They're on YouTube, right?
Yeah, they have them on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like people are like the lady that called 911 because Burger King didn't make the burger the way she wanted.
Yeah.
People
they didn't put my tomatoes on.
Yeah, when it comes to legal, man, people in the United States are sue happy.
Yes.
They want to sue over anything.
That's why you have to be so careful with everything that you do.
Well, I didn't realize that like the OfferUp and the Craigslist stuff could be legally binding under $500. That's kind of a big deal.
We learn how to sue people on this show all the time.
Yeah, right.
Thanks a lot, Ashley. All right, we got to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepicketrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepicketrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
Hey Houston, this is Alan Hernandez, and I want to remind you guys to visit our friends over at Quest IRA to learn everything there is to learn about investing with your IRA. Now, if you haven't been over there recently, you have to check them out. They have free educational classes, networking opportunities, the ability to tap into $1 billion for your real estate investing deals. These are the guys to know when it comes to learning about this kind of stuff. You want to make sure you visit them and check them out over at www.questira.com. Again, that's questira.com.
Hey everyone, this is David over at White Picket Realty, and I wanted to tell you about my friends over at Plans Express who can save you the headache of running your own permits. These guys are committed to offering a one-stop solution for all your plan and permit needs. They're proudly serving their friends and neighbors in the Houston surrounding areas, and they offer great service at an exceptional value. With dedicated professionals ready to serve, contact them today at 832-675-6217.
What do you love about White Picket?
I love that we work together as a team.
I love being professional while having fun.
I love the innovative approach we take every day.
I love the support we get to grow our business.
We love White Picket.
And I love empowering the next generation of realtors to live life by their own design. If you're looking to grow, come grow with us. Email join@teamwpr.com. Again, that's join@teamwpr.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can live tweet us at Realty Ruckus. You can also find us live on Facebook and YouTube, where you can chat with us during the show. If you want to call into the show, 832-790-2578. You can ask any legal questions you might have, 832-790-2578. You can also text message that same number, 832-790-2578. Now, we had a really interesting legal segment, and we actually learned a lot during the segment, but we had a question, and it kind of goes along with what we were talking about. One of the listeners said, I must be really behind with technologically. I have no idea what a troll is. So, does anyone want to explain to him? Yeah, does anyone want to explain to Eddie Sell exactly what a troll is?
David, why don't you feel that question?
Yeah, well, basically, a troll is referring to somebody that's behind the screen of their computer on the internet and is just saying all kinds of incendiary comments or just doing things to get a rise out of people.
Anything to tick people off.
Yeah, and it's not that they necessarily feel that way or that they really truly mean the things they say. They do it to get a rise.
Yeah.
And I know I say a lot about South Park, but South Park,
I knew you were going to bring it up.
They've done a great job of explaining what a troll is, though, because basically the troll is there not to just mess with that person, but he's there to give a rise to all the people that are going to come out in support of that person. So you might go on there, and I'll put something on Ashley's profile like, hey, Ashley Patton, worst freaking attorney of all time. You should go do something stupid, and then people go on there, hey, don't talk about Ashley like that, and now I troll those people too.
Wow,
that's what a real troll is.
Yeah, we had a troll in the real estate investment community, or we had a troll invade the Houston real estate investment community last week, I think it was.
A troll from Florida actually invaded Vincent Pelosi out of Florida.
Don't say his name. Don't speak his name.
This guy gets mega troll status. Mega troll
and
status.
he posted on one of our favorite real estate investors, Chris Johnson. He's such a cool guy here from Houston. He's starting out year 2.
He's such a nice guy too, man.
Well, did you see that thread, Ashley?
I did not see it.
Oh man, it was hilarious.
That's worth reading through.
Basically, all the Houston real estate investment community just came together and started trolling this guy back, and they banished him to the nether regions of Trollland.
He now lives under the bridge
forevermore. It was awesome.
It was really cool to see that the Houston community really came together to fight this guy. Like there was all these like big time investors.
Yeah,
I remember Jason Bible.
Was all up in there.
He was, man. Jason Bible was taking punches. What's funny is that Chris Johnson, he's a real sarcastic guy. He uses real dry humor, a lot of sarcasm, and so he would say things on there like, "Well, yeah, me and my kids, we're so broke, but it's okay." And the guy would be like, "Yeah, you're broke because you suck at life, and you should get divorced and go."
It was all over. It was all about wholesaling. This guy was like, "There's no such thing as wholesaling. You're an idiot. You suck."
Yeah, and so that's what a troll is, Aracel. It's somebody who goes out and tries to get a rise, but it's not only the rise; it's all the people that come in support of him, in that example, all the investors.
Did that have anything to do with Chris Johnson's post about his check?
Yes, it did.
Yes. No. That was later.
No. But that's where it all started.
It all started.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
It started with that post of that check because Chris Johnson was like, "Hey, look, this is what you really make at the end of the day," which is great.
I thought that was incredible post.
I love it that Chris Johnson does that because I get so annoyed with people posting checks. We've gotten closing checks of $300,000, $350,000. It's like, but there's other things that have to get paid out.
What about all the other costs that are there? And then you're going to go out there and just gloat about the fact that you made $300,000 when everyone else knows it's not true. Anyone inside the business, it's you do that, or the people that do that do it just to impress people that don't know any better.
Yeah, so
I thought it was a genius post that he did.
Oh yeah, I think it was roughly like a check for like $42,000 if I remember correctly. 45, something like that. And then he was like, at the end of the day, I walked away with like 16 or 18,000. And it was a very honest post. But this guy Vincent comes out and goes, "Well, if you would listen to me and stop crying and bitching all the time, maybe you'd actually be making more money."
Okay, see, I was wondering where it came from, but I could see that because, it's just, I appreciate posts like that because it's one thing, kind of circle back around. One thing that I tell all my people is I train my employees like, hey, you see a lot of checks from a lot of people.
Yeah.
Don't think that the grass is always green on the other side.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Because, we work with a lot of people who get a lot of checks at closing. And, my people just don't know exactly what goes in there because they're not doing what everybody else does.
Yeah. All they're seeing is the dollar signs.
They're seeing the dollars.
Yeah.
But they don't realize the reality behind it.
My favorite is on Facebook when those people, they're just holding a whole bunch of $100 bills instead of a check. It's just $100.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like,
the pictures of the $100 bills.
So you got your check from the title company, went to the title company's bank.
Cashed it all.
You were like, "Can I cash this all right now?" And then you walked out and took a picture with all your
hundreds. I want to take pictures.
And then loaded it to Facebook to see how many likes you can get.
And then be like, "Hey, look, guys, this is what 20 grand.
I got a bunch of hundreds. Check it out."
So let's talk about some events, guys. We do have, let's talk a little bit Monday Night Football because this coming Monday is the Raiders versus Texans in Mexico City.
That is awesome, man.
I think it's funny that everyone is so worried about them going to Mexico City.
Well, yeah, David was telling us some really funny things. Like they're getting advisory warnings from the.
Well, it was the team. The press got a hold of a memo that was sent out to them, and basically this memo said, "Drink only bottled water."
But it was from the U.S. Department of Travel.
I thought it was. It was. Okay. It's the actual team.
Oh, got it.
It's a memo distributed to all players. It basically says, don't order room service. Only eat in the team eating room or whatever that is.
Yeah.
No ice. Only bottled water.
Wow.
Don't bring your jewelry. Don't bring a whole lot of cash. Don't use ATMs. They are basically on lockdown over there, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't blame them, man. Mexico City is one of the most dangerous cities in the world.
Yeah. When I went to Cancun, we were sitting. We stayed in a pretty nice place, and we were sitting at the beach. And it was about 10 p.m. We were getting ready to just walk back into the resort, and a group of guys literally surrounded us. It was like me and a couple friends, and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna need all your watches and your shoes."
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of them actually, gave them their watches and their shoes. I just ran and nothing happened,
Wow.
But yeah, I mean that really does happen. Here's the other crazy thing: in that resort, in all of these resorts, they give you like these little safety boxes, right?
Yeah.
And you're supposed to put like all your valuables in there. Most of the people that put their stuff in there lost it.
Well, no, it's funny.
Really?
Man.
Yeah, because I mean, there's got to be a way to get in there, and so maybe like the house cleaning.
Well, there's a video on YouTube of how easy it is to open those safes because they have a fail safe on them. So if somebody locks all their stuff in there and never takes it out, there's ways to get them open and take the stuff out.
Yeah.
And they show like within like 30 seconds, somebody who's trained can open up those safes, no problem at all.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't trust it. The Houston Texans shouldn't trust it.
So yeah, it's going to be a great game, but don't go out there and drink the water. That's one of the main
Drink only
tips.
beer and tequila.
Just
beer and tequila.
Yeah, that should make for a good game. We also want to talk about some of the other upcoming events. We have December 1st, Salsa Night with NAREP. We don't really have too many more details on that, but we are going to release those either later today or tomorrow. We also have December 8th with Ashley Patton over at Clay Bar. That's going to be a phenomenal event. If you haven't been to that event, you definitely want to put that on your calendar.
If you haven't been
Real
to
estate
Clay,
professionals only.
Yeah, Clay is a really badass place.
Yeah.
Like that is a cool nightclub.
Yeah, it's really cool. December 9th, we're doing a Toys for Tots drive.
Yes, that's going to be at Lucky's Pub, I believe it's called, on St. Amant Street. And
Yeah,
that's gonna
right
be
behind the soccer stadium.
And this is actually not Toys for Tots, it's Toys for Teens.
Yeah, it's benefiting Navidad en Barrio, which is
Toys for poor Hispanic kids.
yes, basically.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
last year we had one van full, and hopefully we're going to be filling up 2 or 3 trucks.
Yeah, and this
year.
is open to the public, guys. This event, anyone can show up, anyone can donate. This is just from the bottom of your heart. Get out there, even if you can only give 1 or 2 toys. Remember that it sucks growing up for some of these kids. Their parents are more worried about paying bills than they are about buying presents, and Christmas presents are not a priority.
Yeah. Man, I just saw Chris Johnson just hopped on. We're about to end the show.
Oh, man, Chris, you missed it, man. We wanted to talk about all the trolling you've been
suffering.
Anyways, guys, that's it for today. We unfortunately are out of time, but don't forget that we will be back here next Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. to talk about all of the real estate do's, don'ts, things that you should be doing to make money, things that you should be avoiding to not make any money. Don't forget to keep up your Realty Ruckus and have a great weekend. I know we are.
See you guys.
See you guys.
This has been the Realty Ruckus. Make sure and join us every Tuesday and Friday for new episodes. Find us on YouTube and Facebook for replays of previous episodes. And as always, keep elevating yourself and keep up your ruckus. Thanks for listening. Realty Ruckus has been brought to you by Smart Pig Media Productions.